We know that you are nothing more than one big infomercial. That's not entertainment. That's infomercial when you're watching late night television. That's infomercial if you're watching anything on influencer platform. Everybody's trying to get a sale. Buy my intellectual property. That means you don't actually create real relationships with your audience. You don't want real relationships with anyone, even your own kids. That's what we're watching with Haley Hess. Okay, everybody, we're here. We're gonna do these fingers and the finger thing and this finger thing, and so this is what we're going to do, and we're gonna do this, and we're gonna do that, and we're gonna do this, and then we're dancing, yay! And then we're going to triplet this, and we're going to triplet that, and we're going to triplet this, and then we're going to big bug eye you here, and we're going to be obnoxious and narcissistic. And then what, you're not going to notice? You're not going to notice, then why does she have so many followers? It's not the triplets, because the triplets are barely in the forefront of the show, of her show. Her television, her reality TV show. Which is all fake because her husband fucking hates her guts. Same thing with Ken Craddock, by the way. They all fucking hate their wives. So what are we going to do about this, men? See, you're the ages that go to fucking war. You do get that, right? So for you to continuously have kids with a woman that you fucking hate, to keep her mouth shut, it's very, very sadistic, I would say. But you had another kid, didn't you? And that kid's mine, by the way, Ken Craddock. And so is Camp. So all you're doing is filling the earth with people who can't stand your asses. When you're about to go to WAR, with the kind where you actually have a weapon in your hand, while she sits home and says, I'm an influencer. She's going to report to you. So my husband, Ken, he's in the war zone, and he just called me yesterday and said they were on the degrees of 35 degrees north of this place, and then he gets offed because she wants the money. And that's the reality of what these women are up to. Think about what I just said in the form of what Ken Craddock is up against with a piece of shit who literally is a narcissist. And unweaving a man from a pervert bitch named nobody knows your name, Miss Craddock. Imagine you're the man who thought she was a good person, and you're weaved into that nastiness of her seduction. And then coming to the realization that she doesn't even like your ass, and she controls your ass, and she's abusive to your ass. She's weird as shit. You don't like talking to her. But now you're caught up in a reality TV show of millions of fuckers like yourselves, with no empathy and no compassion coming from any direction. And now they got another kid. But they sure do have a nice house, don't you? Making all that money because that makes them happy to go shopping. Keep them quiet. Get them to go through the drive-thru and buy a drink. While they all get in their little cult clans of women to women to women. While they all talk about the same shit. While Summer abuses Ken Craddock's wife. While Summer's husband's barely on the film. Where Brady and bitch-ass Addie are competing with Ken Craddock. And let's not forget the Hess family. And then don't forget about Bethany's family. All competing with each other. For views. For likes. For sales. While their children are growing up in an organized crime group of an infomercial. Where the mother's like seductive. This one's seductive. That one's seductive. They don't generate real motherhood. And then they abuse innocent people when they question their ability to get one over on people. If you know what I mean. That's the reality, folks. But I would remind you that the children are evolving very well, I have to say, Key and Camp. Camp seems to be coming alive, actually, since I've really taken notice of him. Oh, but don't you worry, because the older he gets, the less interesting they are to you as the audience. And especially for the mother. Because if you're a baby, they can pretty much tell you whatever they want to tell you to put you into submission. That's not real motherhood. And she won't get the same kind of seduction by breastfeeding a 7-year-old. Because now they're going to have a whole new level of sickness. But that's not important to Mona Van. No, she wants to talk about Prince Powerquat at the U.S. Capitol, where our government thinks that's more important than a little boy named Camp. Because they're living their First Amendment right to do and say whatever they want to fucking say, except for I'm not allowed to say and do what I want to say because I'm not in their clique. Then that's not equality, is it? Oh, well, you're really not intelligent, are you? Not to mention, you might want to consider that I look like I'm her age. But she's going to be aging very quickly because without integrity, nothing works, Mona Van. See, Mona Van lies about her age, but look at how fucking old she looks. Look how fucking old she looks. Look at how old Miss Craddock looks. Her behavior is that of a woman who's 50 and 60 years old. Her anger and her resentment is the age of somebody who's 50 and 60 years old. Same thing with Kim Kardashian. But Kim Kardashian looks like a surgery nightmare. You look like a surgery fucking nightmare, and none of you are going to say anything about it because you're going to be kind. But the bitch is trying to destroy your family and your life. You're going to tell me that you're going to buy her products because you think it's sweatshops. It's cheap. So that means you don't value things you purchase. You just buy shit because you want it. That's Chinese motto, by the way. That's the way the Chinese live. There's Chinese vibe all over your shit. Your shit has Chinese vibe all over it. That's called communism. That's bringing communism into our country. Except I'm very aware of what American culture is because I grew up in a time that was very clear on what American is. That's the George Bush era. Very, very close to my family is the George Bushes. Not sure what part that you don't understand. But you think you're better than me because look at who you're hanging out with. Oh, wait. Nobody. Oh, your million followers that are what? Bots? Chinese bots? People from other countries that would never even... You're like making a fool of yourselves. There's no radar in there to understand. This is like very concerning that you're embarrassing yourselves. But there's no radar in your body to regulate your ability to feel embarrassment. It's not a gray area. It's pretty fucking clear when you sit there and you talk about your episiotomy and you're showing a diaper that you're supposed to be wearing, that's embarrassing. People are laughing at you. But there's no ability for her to register that that's embarrassing. Same thing, that's a Middle Eastern trait. That's a Chinese communist trait. Because all they want is what they want. So you define it, Mr. Power Struggler. You define what that is. That's what they think power is. That's not realism. That's not helping anyone. That's just blabbing at the mouth to get attention, to get a version of empathy and sympathy, which is all judgment. And then they say, don't judge me. All off the backs of context of which you live, of the perspective of context, while teaching nothing. That's the key in all of this shit, is what exactly are we talking about here? What exactly are we all talking about here? Oh, we're talking about how rich they are, and how more important they are, and how beautiful they are. But bitch, you ain't hot. You ain't attractive. You ain't a good person. Not sure what part of that none of you are fucking getting on when I'm throwing down, motherfuckers. No, they do this for the men, they do this for the attention, and they do this shit for the fucking money.